Hey guys, today I'm going to be doing a book review on Moriarty by Anthony Horowitz. Moriarty by Anthony Horowitz is set after the infamous battle at the Reichenbach Falls between Sherlock Holmes and Professor Moriarty. With Moriarty gone, there is a wide opening for someone to become the new head of the criminal underworld. Enter Frederick Chase, an investigator with the Pinkerton Detective Agency, who is on the trail of such a criminal who plans to take Moriarty's place. Chase teams up with Athelney Jones, a Scotland Yard detective who is an admirer of Sherlock Holmes. The two men fight their way through the sinister streets and neighborhoods of London to track down this much-feared criminal before he kills again. This freaking book, yeah guys, dear freaking God. Okay, let's be real. I was initially going to give this book like a 3-star rating on Goodreads because there were just certain things about this book that I was getting a little frustrated with and I just didn't entirely understand. And then I get to the very end of this book. You guys, I get to the very, very end and there's a certain twist that is revealed. That's all I'm going to say. And this book changed into a 4-star book for me because my frustrations were then resolved, if that makes sense. And yeah, that's the thing. That's what's going to make this review frustrating for me because I can't even talk about what it is that I was getting upset about and what I was concerned about. Because if I mention what my concern was, it's a spoiler. It's a total spoiler for this book if I even mentioned what I was frustrated with. So, that's all I'm going to say. I'm just going to say that I initially was going to give this book a 3-star rating, but there is something that literally happens at the end of this book that left me with my mouth hanging open, and it just changed everything. It changed the way I thought about this book entirely, to the point that I gave it a 4-star rating in the end. So, on the surface, as you're reading this book, this book takes place after the fight that happens between Sherlock Holmes and Professor Moriarty at the Reichenbach Falls. So, if you're familiar with Arthur Conan Doyle's Sherlock Holmes stories, then yeah, the Reichenbach Falls is most likely something very familiar to you. And yeah, it's at the Reichenbach Falls. If you've never read Sherlock Holmes, sorry, I'm about to kind of spoil something for you, but yeah, at the Reichenbach Falls, this is where presumably Sherlock Holmes and Professor Moriarty, this is where they die because they plunge into the depths of the waterfall. But yeah, if you've read your Sherlock Holmes, you kind of know where all that kind of leads and goes eventually. But yeah, this book is pretty much following a few days after those events at the Reichenbach Falls. So on the surface, this book comes across as, you know, the aftermath of that. And it doesn't really have anything to do with that other than the fact that now that Moriarty is out of the picture, his space is wide open. Because Moriarty was a big criminal, he was involved in a lot of the goings-on in the criminal underworld of London. So yeah, with him gone, there is a space open for someone to become the new Moriarty, essentially. Someone who wants to take his place and make that money and organize all of these gangs and criminals and whatnot. And yeah, this is where we meet Frederick Chase. He's an American from the Pinkerton Detective Agency, and he is on the trail of such a criminal who is trying to take the place of Moriarty. And this is how he meets up with Scotland Yard detective Athelney Jones. The big thing you gotta know about Athelney Jones, he is a huge fanboy. Let's put it that way. He is a huge fanboy of Sherlock Holmes. There's a point in this book that Frederick Chase, he gets to go to Athelney Jones's home and he gets to see his office, and yet in his office he has like all of the stories that Watson has told about Sherlock Holmes. And yeah, he just has all sorts of books on forensics and detective work. And yeah, Anthony Jones just really, he aspires to be the next Sherlock Holmes, essentially. That's how much he is an admirer of Sherlock Holmes. So yeah, that's where you're at with this story. On the surface, it's following the aftermath of the Reichenbach Falls, you know, trying to hunt down the next Moriarty, trying to prevent that. And yeah, these two guys who are substitutes of Holmes and Watson, essentially, that they team up very much like Holmes and Watson. And yeah, this comes across as kind of a casual thriller and a mystery. There's really not much to it. I'll say there's really not very much to it. It's very standard and basic in some ways, but it is, you read this book. You read this book to get to the end, essentially. You read this to get the big freaking twist. And it's so hard to even, you know, just do this review, because it's like I want to talk about the twist so bad. Because it does. It kind of just comes out of nowhere. It comes out of nowhere. There's really no hint or warning about it. And I hope me sitting here mentioning, hey, there's a big gigantic twist at the end of this book, I hope that doesn't really ruin the book for you, because it's like, I almost feel like even saying that there's a twist is a spoiler, you know, because it's like you're expecting there to be some sort of spoiler by the time you get to, or some sort of twist by the time you get to the end of this novel. So it's like, I even kind of worry about just mentioning that there's even a twist. But yeah, this book, it's a very casual, standard thriller, with not much else to it, and yeah, really no ties to the original Sherlock Holmes stories. Yeah, for starters, Holmes and Watson, they do not make an appearance in this book. They do not make any sort of appearance. They are mostly just talked about. And yeah, Frederick Chase and Anthony Jones, they are substitute figures. Because now that Holmes and Watson are kind of not really there either, very much like Moriarty, they are kind of like, hey, we need a new Holmes and Watson. Let's become the new Holmes and Watson. And I loved that build-up of the Chase and Jones relationship, reliability they develop. So yeah, I guess what I'm essentially trying to say is that if you're reading this book and you're kind of struggling with it and you're not really finding it that interesting, I do beg you to at least continue and at least get to the ending to make an opinion about the book as a whole. I have seen reviews, and I agree with these reviews. I have seen reviews because Anthony Horowitz, this is actually book 2 in this series. The first book is The House of Silk, which does feature Holmes and Watson. I loved House of Silk. That was just such a well done book. And yeah, I don't think Moriarty is like, I don't think it reaches that same peak as House of Silk does, but I still enjoyed it. And yeah, the thing is too, I mean, these are approved by the Arthur Conan Doyle estate. Both of the books that Anthony Horowitz has wrote, they are approved by the Arthur Conan Doyle estate, which I think means that they are kind of approved as part of the Sherlock Holmes canon, if that makes sense. And yeah, that's something I love about Anthony Horowitz's writing, and I can definitely see why these were approved by the Doyle estate. Because the way Anthony Horowitz writes, I mean, you feel like you are reading a traditional Sherlock Holmes story, you guys. It does. He mimics Arthur Conan Doyle's writing perfectly and flawlessly. But yeah, he still has his own flair, and being modern, you know, he has his own style in there. But yeah, he just writes in such a way that it's like, man, I really feel like I'm reading a Sherlock Holmes story, you know. It's very damn near perfect to how Arthur Conan Doyle wrote, in my opinion. So yeah, this review is not going to be too terribly long, because it's like I can't really mention too terribly much about the book, because everything that I love about this book is all about the freaking ending. But yeah, I definitely recommend this book if you previously enjoyed Anthony Horowitz's House of Silk. I recommend this if you just love all things Sherlock Holmes, you know, just set in that universe. And yeah, if you love a good twist to the end, guys, if you just want something totally unexpected that you just never saw coming, this is definitely the book for you. So that is it for my book review of Moriarty by Anthony Horowitz. In the comments below, have you guys read Moriarty? Let me know your thoughts down below, and if you have read it, we need to talk. So that's it for this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and if you like this video, you may like these other videos. Bye guys.